We've got another question here from Phil about how is a new franchisee's territory determined?
Perfect. Yeah. Typically what happens, once we have a discussion, it works on a postcode. What's your Blacktown, aren't you?
I'm 2148. So I've got the whole postcode region of Blacktown, which, includes a few extra, like it's not just Blacktown. There's, I think, Marryong, and there's a couple other suburbs that are involved in that postcode region.
Typically, and good question, Michael, how many clients have you got in Blacktown?
In my area, like in that
just in
region?
none.
None.
There you go. Yeah.
None. Because the way it works is like it's the closest to where the lead kind of originates. And Lloyd can correct me if I'm wrong. And then it's on availability. So if my leads are always on, and let's say someone else is down the road or closer to that person, but they're not taking leads, then it'll go to the next person. If somebody's on pay-for-work guarantee, they get a higher priority of leads. So they'll filter more leads to that person. So I don't think I've gotten anybody specifically in my postcode, funnily enough.
And that's common because we're global. I think the most important thing that, it was Phil asking that question, was it?
Yeah, correct.
I think the most important thing, and Michael, you and I went through that process, is you can market yourself personally with your phone number and your brand in your territorial postcode only. Otherwise, you use the 131546 and the global one. And Michael and I had a discussion on that where we've got to be very careful that you don't do that. So you can market direct in your territory. How do we select it? We talk to you and say, what's a good area for you? We'll select a postcode. We have a mapping program that will go there and say, okay, there's 10 or 15,000 people in that area, which is typically a postcode in the metropolitan area. It could be more in Sydney. If it's country, we might take a couple of postcodes, but it's only to have your brand name. And as Michael said, clients typically don't come in your own area. Ideally, it would be good, but good question. Hope that answers that question, Phil.
Just on that as well, there's a tremendous opportunity to get the postcode of your dreams type thing. So, it's not like, for example, if you look at the mowing division, it's so kind of heavily saturated that you might have one particular suburb split 3 times kind of thing. Whereas from our perspective, they've got the ability, like we've got so much, like,
The difference in other ones, they have to drive and travel everywhere.
Yeah.
And in bookkeeping, to be efficient, sure, you might meet the client. For example, I have an external bookkeeper. I don't have a Jim's bookkeeper because we have too much personal information about our franchisee. I have an external bookkeeper, and my guys would know her name's Tanya. I've met her twice. First time I interviewed her, and we went out for the end of year, financial year this year for lunch. Not that I don't talk to her on a regular basis, but physically touch her. And I shouldn't say touch her, physically see her, I've done it twice. So the efficiency of bookkeeping. There is a gym, there's on the website.
Sorry, Lloyd. Denise has just mentioned, someone has mentioned to me that they would like to possibly use me. They are in New South Wales and I am in Tas, so that's okay as they approached me.
Correct. I know Denise is in Tassie. Yeah, so if you get an inquiry, what you would do first is you'd go to FMS and check to see if that client or prospect is not using another Jim's bookkeeper. That's very crucial. And secondly, if they're not, then you can contact them. Dean out of Melbourne had a client who was using another Jim's bookkeeper who approached him and said, hold it, let me check, and discuss with the bookkeeper. It's pretty open. Does that answer that Denise's question? Yes. As long as you don't go, sure, Denise, you can go and market in New South Wales, but you only can market under the group. Like we have group Facebook pages now. So it's Jim's Bookkeeping Blacktown. Michael hasn't got his personal phone number, his personal email, or his personal website. Sure, we have a website profile for you guys, but the global marketing must be done with our group number and our group email address and our group web profile.
Yeah, that's actually on that note. Like when I came on board 18 months ago, I was actually saying to Lloyd, can we have our own Facebook? Because there's a massive opportunity there to build credibility, release content, and just build your personal credibility and brand that way. And you know, we didn't have that. And then now fast forward, now we've all got our own first personal Facebook pages, which, you know, let's say like I've only just jumped on Facebook recently because, you know, I was off it for ages and only getting on it because like as an owner of a business and building my personal brand. But let's say you've got 500 people or 1,000 people. Some people have thousands of people on their friend list. You know, a simple way to build your credibility straight away is invite them to, like, you know, imagine having 500 people like your page instantly, and then, you know, you post content on there. They like that content. It then shows up on their news feeds, which is then marketable, which then shows up. And then just like that, you've just taken one, you know, piece of post, which could be an ATO article about STP or something like that. And you've just turned that, you've just gone and reached 500 within your local network, but then potentially 500 further on. And that is unbelievably powerful.
The point we have here, Michael, that friend may live in Perth.
Yeah.
And he says, well, he might say, I'll phone the 13546, and Michael may not get the lead.
Yeah.
Might not get the client. But that's about same thing in Perth, where I might be marketing and you'll get it in Sydney. And it's like people driving cars. The old-fashioned marketing way of having a signage, which is a compliance process you must have, still works these days. I still get franchisees phone me. I still get clients phone me. I saw the sign on the car. It's amazing. So all the social networking and social media